Welcome back to the Oshner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio here at Radio Row at Super Bowl LIX. That is 59 for people that don't know Roman numerals. We have finally learned that, and I finally got it right by the end of the week. So that's a big dub for me. You're watching another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. And as always, if you're in the market for a new car, check out my guy Matt Powers at one of his many different dealerships throughout the region. We've now spent about 3 hours with Kellen Moore.
How many hours in Roman numerals? Do you know?
Line.
Good job.
Yeah.
Saints won Super Bowl 44. Give me 44.
LIX? I don't know.
XLIV.
XLIV.
Right. We'll work on it. We've got a lot of time to sit here together.
Yeah. But we spent a lot of time with them so far. What's your give me your top headline?
Yeah, today was a lot more comfortable and relaxed. It was mostly us talking to him today for most of the time, which I think he appreciated. Not having the wider scrums that he had the first couple of days. But like I said yesterday, that it came across again today. So many people are dissecting whether or not he has a dynamic personality, but he absolutely has a air of confidence about it.
No doubt.
Comfortable in his own skin, conviction. Like, there's no imposter syndrome with him. Like, he doesn't seem like he's faking his way through it. He feels like he has become an offensive coordinator at a young age at so many different stops to the highest level because he's good at his job. Yeah, and that comes through.
And on that point, like the confidence in your own skin and everything, the thing that stood out the most to me throughout these last 3 days is how often, like, he talked about different collaborative efforts, whether it be with a head coach or a previous offense that already existed. Okay, I'm coming into this spot and I'm taking over this offense, and Justin Herbert does all these things well in Joe Lombardi's system or whatever it was. So I don't want to throw all that out. So I'm going to work within that, try to make it mine, add to it, put my spin on it, and work within that. Okay, I'm going to go to Philadelphia, and I'm going to work with Nick Sirianni, who's an offensive coach, and I'm going to work within his system, but bring my system within it and kind of work on that. Okay, I'm going to talk to Saquon Barkley and find out what he likes to do and try to build things around that. That's a confident person. Like, an unconfident person, everything has to be their own idea, their way of doing things, them making sure they're getting all the credit for everything, my way or the highway, kind of dictatorial. And he's confident enough to know, like, hey, look, there's a lot of ways to do things, and I can add to this and make it mine. I can put a twist on it and make it mine. And I really like that approach about him. For me, and kind of built within that, the idea of working with people that have been around for a while, have been in different systems, been exposed to things, collaborative, all that. Like, I'm coming around to the idea of Derek Carr as the quarterback for the system. Like, I think that he might be out of the guys in the room, I think he might be the best suited one for this offense, and I don't think we should be so quick to throw him out. Like, if you're looking to win football games next year.
I only want to throw Derek Carr out for one reason. I think Derek Carr is absolutely the best chance to win and implement your system in 2025. Hands down. I think he was in 2024. He was in 2023. I feel like Derek Carr represents delaying the inevitable. I feel like the longer you stick with Derek Carr, the year after you cut Derek Carr, you have to eat salary cap and take a step back and then draft a guy. And I just want to speed that process forward. I want to get there in 2026, not 2027. But yeah, if you want to try to win the NFC South this year, I think Derek Carr and Kellen Moore could work great together and win a lot of games together. I think that was true of Derek Carr and Clint Kubiak, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the idea I'm trying to make here is that I don't think that there's a reality where Spencer Rattler's winning you more games than Derek Carr, where he's a better fit than Derek Carr, where the only way you make that move is if you don't want to win games. Like, that's really it. Like, you're maybe trying to chase gold, but you're doing it saying, okay, look, we're probably gonna have a top 5 pick next year. That's what you're doing. It isn't like, I think there's this idea of, like, we'll cut Derek Carr and you'll win more games with Rattler. Like, that.
I don't believe that.
That isn't going to happen. No, the only way you do it,
you get to the future faster.
Yeah, you're doing the reset and you're saying we don't have a quarterback. Like, that's what you're doing.
The model I like is the Sean Payton Denver model. It's the how soon could Kellen Moore come in here, handpick his own quarterback, and build as much of the roster to his taste as he likes. And I just worry about if you spend this year trying to win with Derek Carr, which I think you could do. I think you could win 10 games with Derek Carr. then we're a year further away from.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that totally. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to win, you're doing it. Otherwise, it's a start over. But I just kind of want to. I don't think there's a better answer on this roster. Is the point that I'm trying to make. And the more we've talked to him, it's kind of like, all right, I can see how this could work. Like, I can see how these guys could get married together. I think that he would probably do a good job of maximizing what Carr does well. But yeah, I mean, like the reset is the thing that is needed. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the thought process there stuck out to me. Other than that, like I like him. Like I like him. I like talking football to him. I like hearing his answers. I think he's a guy that's very well put together.
I think Alvin Kamara liked talking to him. The most cerebral guy in the room who loves to talk football and learn football. We talk all the time about, like, okay, how is somebody like Kellen Moore or Ben Johnson or, any young offensive coordinator going to command the room, earn the respect of the players? I bet Alvin Kamara is going to cut. Remember, Alvin did that with Kubiak. He flew into New Orleans after he got hired and sat in his office a bunch. I bet Alvin Kamara is going to love sitting in Kellen Moore's offense and talk about the things he did with Saquon and ideas Alvin's had. And then Kellen Moore's going to be like, I love those ideas. Kellen Moore's the guy who's going to probably pull out a piece of pencil and a paper and be like, yeah, I love that. Like, have you ever thought about doing like those are the kind of conversations he's going to have with Derek Carr, with Alvin Kamara, with other guys like that. I think that is what will attract him. We're not trying to gloss over the fact that he's going to have to learn all the other things that come with being a head coach.
Yeah.
But I think that is going to be the thing that grabs the attention of the players.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some development with him as a coach too. And, I like that. Like, he had good answers about how he's developed as a play caller, how he's developed his mind in that role, how he's come to see things better as he's grown within it. Like, he's a person that seems like is always going to be looking for ways to evolve and get better. And I think who he is on day one isn't who he's going to be on day 800. Like, I think there's going to be a good bit of learning, but I think he's going to be willing to do it, and I think he's going to embrace it.
All right. I need to look something up. I'll have this after the break, but Dennis Allen might have been fired on day 800. I'm going to look that up.
There's no way he was fired on day 800.
I'm going to look it up.
No, because he got into year 3. Year 3.
Yeah, he didn't make it 3 full years.
So, like, like
4 years,
27, 30
something.
He made it more than that. Yeah,
he would have got fired on day 900.
He definitely made it over 800.
All right.
Anyway, we're gonna hit a quick. We're going right into a segment here. Mark Ingram joined the show yesterday. We're gonna hit a quick break after that, and then we're gonna shoot you an interview we did with Thomas Morstead, and then after that break, we'll be back with the Martin's questions of the day. Joined now by Saints legend Mark Ingram. Mark, what you got going on this week, man?
Just chilling, man. Just making the rounds, couple appearances, couple events, back in the city. You know what I mean? So just enjoying the week.
Yeah, so obviously the Saints are in the midst of kind of making their coaching change, and we think it's going to be Kellen Moore. Just as an observer of the league, like, what do you kind of think about him? What do you know about him?
I mean, I know he did well with the Cowboys when he was down there. I know he's doing well up there with Philly, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's been successful as the coordinator, and I think, New Orleans, we were at our best when we had offensive-minded head coach. So obviously they're probably looking that way because they would have made a hire, but they're waiting for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So clearly looking like that. But so we'll see. We'll see, man. Obviously, I have faith in them making decisions about head coach. I have faith in the organization. I support whatever decisions that the team makes, and I hope that it's the right guy for the job, and I hope that it brings us back to the top. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I just want us to be great. So whoever's going to do that, that's what I'm behind.
Mark, he's not just an offensive mind. He just had a 2,000-yard rusher. I thought you'd be out here working every booth saying, get him hired.
Hey, Saquon is the man. So, he got a beach down here in AK. So, I give my guy AK 2,000 yards, I'll be more than happy. You know what I mean? So,
you're the voice of college football now. Who transforms the Saints with the 9th pick in the draft?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I have no idea, man. What we need? What's
a little bit of everything, right?
Kind of everything.
So what y'all thinking? Who goes?
I mean, I want the running back, man. Give me Jeanty, man.
Bro, I literally said that. I said it at 9. People are going to be crazy. I'm like, and never done. I'm like, bro, pair Alvin with freaking Ashton, Jeanty, and like prolong Alvin's career, then you have a young back too. I literally said that on K. Adams' show. I was like, they should draft Jeanty. If people were letting me crazy,
It
like,
worked in 17.
huh?
It worked in 17.
It did. It
Yeah,
did.
I mean,
It did.
and the way the league's going, like it's just running backs are back, man. They're getting paid again. Like
Yeah.
you left at the wrong time. Like they're getting paid now.
Well, you know, everyone loves the running back except the people that have to pay the running back. You know, quit freaking devaluing the running back and pay the damn backs what they deserve. You see how important and pivotal they are to a team. You see Josh Jacobs, what he did in Green Bay. You see Derrick Henry. You see Saquon. You see Joe Mixon walking out of Cincinnati, going to Houston, having a big year. Like Jahmyr Gibbs. You're seeing the backs. You know, you have to be able to run, block, catch. You're seeing the value that they bring to a team. So, you know, Alvin, what he's done in New Orleans, his entire career. So, pay the running backs, man. Quit being dumb and trying to devalue the position because you want to pay a mid quarterback $45 million to start.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
for real though. Yeah,
just because you're a starter, you get $40 million. Like,
it's crazy.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Pay the running backs. Pay the players on your team that deserve to be paid.
That's
If
right.
the running back deserves to be paid, pay the man.
Mark, I know you're not paying close attention to the Saints, but just like the bird's eye view as a guy who loves his team and an analyst, like there's so much divide between you got to tear it all down. They're ridiculous to keep trying to win the NFC South and hang on to what they like. How far away do you think this team is? Do you think this team needs a whole shakeup or what?
I don't think we've been far. I feel like we were right on point. Then we got destructive with injuries, and then the rest then everything else folded. And you know, you got to get a new head coach, and then bomb and everything. I don't think we're far, man. I think you have leaders. I think you have playmakers. I think you just have to everyone get on the same page. Like that's when the best organizations are ones that are aligned from the top down. So everyone just needs to be on the same page. If you want to wipe it out and start over, then do that. If you want, and let them bring their people in and have a chance to, you know, be evaluated on what they can do. And if you want to keep it kind of like, you know, Peyton-ish family, then you didn't do it because AG, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you didn't do it because AG, you know what I mean? So who knows? But I just want the best for the organization, man. I feel like the city deserves a great football team. I think the players in the locker room deserve to be a part of a great football team. You know, DeMario, Cam, all those guys, you know, they're still playing at a high level, and I feel like I want them to have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Alvin, I want them to have a chance to win a Super Bowl. You have Chris Olave, Shaheed. You have so many guys, Cesar Ruiz, Eric McCoy, both the tackles. You know, I feel like we have the players, feel like we have the leadership. You know, we just kind of got to get everyone on the same accord, man. I feel like when everyone's on the same accord from the top down, you have a chance to be successful. When there's divide, too many hands, too many power pulls here and there, that's when you see friction, and it kind of trickles downhill from there. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I was here, we had a great organization. Everyone was on the same page, and I feel like it's still that way. We just kind of got to – obviously, you have to have a head coach.
Yeah.
You have to have a head coach. So that kind of, you know, is the tone setter for the entire team. But, yeah, get that done, and let's get moving in the right direction.
Ochsner Hospital for Orthopedics and Sports Medicine on Clearview Parkway is celebrating 5 years of exceptional achievements. The hospital's integrated team has successfully performed over 20,000 surgeries using the latest in cutting-edge technology. With nationally recognized services and impactful partnerships, they continue to lead the advancement of orthopedic and sports medicine care in our region.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Homa, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store.
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. NewOrleans.Football is proudly sponsored by Urban South Brewery, the makers of Paradise Park Lager. I love supporting local breweries, and when looking for a refreshing, easy drinking beer, I always recommend Paradise Park. In fact, I think it might be the best game day beer out there. If you want something a little lighter, try Paradise Light. It's everything I love about Paradise Park with just 96 calories and 2.6 carbs. And if you're looking for a family-friendly place to watch the game, I'd recommend Urban South's Tap Room in the Lower Garden District. They've got 15 TVs, 30 unique beers on tap, and mouth-watering Urban Smash burgers. The whole family will want to make Urban South their new living room, because at Urban South, they take laid back seriously. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. At Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Chabert. That's 504-326-6526. Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey is an 86 proof blend of aged wheat bourbon, American light whiskey, and fresh Ponchatoula strawberries. Blended in New Orleans, it is not for the thin-skinned. Look for it in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. NewOrleans.Football is proud to be sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Make sure you check out their location on Veterans Boulevard. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust the team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com. And we're joined now by Saints legend Thomas Morstead. Thomas, great to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, Nick. Thanks for having me.
So just before we get started, anything, I know that you are big with, Team Gleason and you promoting that and everything you guys got. What do you guys got going on right now? What's going on with Team Gleason?
We're just kind of talking about what we did this whole season. There was a Punt for ALS campaign that I did, and we ended up going a little over $100,000, and it was a big thing to raise awareness for Team Gleason and in a big media market up in New York, New Jersey area. And so it was successful in that, right? And it's just really cool to have so many specialists around the league. They donated their jerseys throughout after games and would do jersey swaps to help kind of keep weekly donations coming in and stuff like that. So it's really cool, and boils down to, for me, it was just I want to do something for Steve. He's done a lot of inspiring and perspective giving for countless people, and his life is unimaginably difficult, and he continues to say yes to that life, and and I just wanted to do something to encourage him, to let him know that just him being alive is an impact on people, and him continuing to choose that difficult life is a big deal. And I don't know, sometimes when you see somebody that's everybody talks about, man, look at all this guy's doing for me, and or all this, what this person means to me, that sometimes who's encouraging that person. And I know he has to have a tremendous support staff just for his daily needs, but it's just as a friend, I just wanted to do something for him, and it's really cool. So
yep, that's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome how you keep paying it forward, but also bringing it to New York, like you said, bringing it to that stage, and keeping that movement alive. You also closed the deal with Aaron Glenn. What'd you do to keep him from coming to even visit the Saints?
Oh, man, that's so funny. Here's what I would compare it to. Imagine I was in the coaching circles for the past decade, and then there was a Saints gig up and a Dolphins gig up for head coach.
He had 4 of them, actually.
Yeah,
also,
whatever they were. My
Jaguars
point
and the
is that team that drafted him, where he did the most learning and the most growing as an early guy, that is a real thing. And it would be kind of if I said, no, I'm not going there, New Orleans is the first interview and hopefully the only. You kind of have to balance that with being business smart, but I can't imagine how cool it is for him personally, to have that opportunity.
What's I don't know how many teammates you've talked to, but the direction of the team under him, you know him better than most there. How excited are you about him being the guy that's going to decide the direction of the team?
To say that I know him better than most is to say that I was the punter for a team when he was our cornerbacks coach for 4 years. So I wouldn't claim to have this, tremendous relationship with him. I do have a relationship, and I remember being around him, and the word I keep using when people ask me is he just exuded professionalism at the highest level. And so look, I'm just as a person, as a human being, I'm excited for him to get the opportunity. You can tell in his I got to watch his press conference when he got hired. You could tell that this is the place he wanted to go to, and as just a person, I'm excited for him for that opportunity. So,
did you hear from any of the guys just about what they thought of that press conference? It seemed like a lot of energy, a lot of probably what the Jets need.
Yeah, I think, look, everybody's looking for something they grasp a hold of, whether it's a fan, a player, anything. And look, the press conference is important. That's why he did it. And I'm sure he wanted to get out a certain message and a certain energy and a vibe. But I don't make any judgments about anything. It's just the way it is, It's that's what he felt like he needed to do and what he needed to say and what he wanted to put across. So I don't know how many other guys were super in tune with watching the press conference. But all I know is I'm excited.
So I'm kind of fascinated by you and your career and just kind of, at this point of it, like what keeps you motivated after all these years, like to keep striving to be the best? Like a lot of guys will take their foot off the pedal after a certain point, and it seems like you are the exact opposite of that, and you keep excelling and keep putting up great numbers. What's driving you?
I mean, the easy answer is that I love the job. I love the experiences that I'm getting with my kids, my wife, my parents. I remember getting cut by the Saints and, my wife saying, you may never get another chance when your kids are watching for you to, show them how to respond. I was like, well, shit. I mean, what else you need to hear other than that?
Yeah.
And that was a really cool thing for her to say in that moment, because she very easily could have said, hey, we're ready for you to just be here and, and let's move to the next thing. I'm sure she probably had some piece of her that would have wanted to say that too. And so that's one thing. I think selfishly, if I'm going to spend money or spend time doing anything to work, I don't know that there's any job I can do that I'm going to earn the amount of money I'm making or be able to have the impact that I want to have in other areas of my life and my circle of friends or different organizations that I try to work with or support. I don't know that there's a better use of my time than being great at punting a football. And then this is a long answer, but I love being the old guy in the locker room. I love mentoring young guys. Guys come around, they see you with a wife and a nice family and maybe not living that Instagram life, but they just see a level of stability that I think deep down everybody really would like to have. And they want to, just, if you're a smart player, you're looking around the locker room and wondering, okay, how'd this guy get to this place? I remember doing that as a young player with certain older players in New Orleans. And so I love being that guy to whoever is looking for any help in any area of life. It's meaningful, and I think that's where you hear about people talk about the relationships that they make. That's the type of stuff where a lot of those things, are forged. I don't have my hand in the ground next to some other lineman, grinding it out in training camp together. So it's a different sort of relationship that I may garner with teammates over time just because of the nature of what I do. So,
and when did you start to gain that perspective that you could use punting to kind of be the stage and the path to so many other things that are important to you now and will be in the future?
I think as a young player, I remember feeling the pressure of just punting and the fact that we didn't punt much as you better figure out some other ways to add value around here. And that's why I was so eager to kick off and learn to kick off and be good at it, because I was like, well, we kick off a lot. And I know Coach Payton doesn't like it when the other team returns the ball. So maybe I should really lock into that. And that's why I really wanted to lock into holding on field goals, because my first 6 years, it was always the backup quarterback, which I hated. I wanted to do that. And so, I don't know, I just feel like the more, I was always like, what more can I do? And then when you become a very highly paid guy at your position, you better be bringing more value all the time, because they're always looking to get younger and cheaper, just as a general business principle. Why would you not if there's constraints on the spending? So I don't know. I just always had probably a legitimate sense of urgency to like, just, I better, all I know is if I'm providing more value than I'm getting paid, then I'll probably keep my job.
Yeah, that's
If
smart.
I'm not, I probably won't keep my job. And so that was just as simple as that.
I'm sorry that you've become much more famous in New York. I think I've seen a lot of 6, 7. Was there a 13 punt game in there?
11.
On a lot on national TV too.
Yeah, I would say this. I don't think your statement's true. Maybe I'm total people that maybe know me, but I mean, you're talking about like 10 million people versus like 400,000 here in New Orleans. So per capita, I think it's definitely different down here for me.
A year into this kickoff rule that people are trying to wrap their head around, you pro, con?
I think it's been a good change.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's good that you can't steal possession some way, somehow. But I think there's been more there have been more kickoff returns, and more football plays, more excitement. So I think it's good. It's no different than when they moved the extra point back from the 20-yard extra point to 33. It took it from a gimme to one that you kind of expect to be made every time, but it's only like it's like an 18 or 19 out of 20. You got to watch the play to make sure it goes in, and so I think it's been a positive change. I just hope they can really look at just finding a way for a team to get a possession back, but not one that you have to announce, right? Like, either we're going for it on 4th down with an offensive snap, or we're doing an onside kick and we're telling everybody, like finding a way inside of the play, however they do it, to where you can take a risk if you want to take a risk and be bold.
We just had a topic on our last show about the talk of an 18-game schedule. I know obviously you've been a long-time advocate for the PA. I mean, is that something you're dead against, or it has to come with this and this and this, or?
Well, I'll compare it to 17. I think when we went from 16 to 17, everybody was like, we're dead against this. And when we ended up getting to a place of, well, what would it take to get to a 17th? And we got to a place where we said, this is as far as we can get it. You guys vote. And if we say yes, yes. If we don't, we don't. But like, here's what's available to vote on now. And it passed like 51.5 to 48.5. It was super tight. So the sentiment is absolutely no way for an 18th game. Does that mean it won't happen? No. I mean, you're talking about like this. There's one big giant scale with a bunch of stuff on either side, and you know our executive director coined. He said it's like a big pot of gumbo. There's a bunch of different pieces that weigh differently and have different bearing on if this is going to be yes or no at some point, if it gets to that point. And so to say that any one thing has to be the case if we're going to do this, I don't think it's fair to any of our players to make a statement like that. But you can see that we did expand previously, and so who knows? At the end of the day, they have to negotiate with us. It's in a CBA, and if they want to do that, if they want to negotiate a change earlier than when the CBA is up, they're probably going to have to extend quite far, because the fallback is that we'll just keep doing what we're doing. So that's the best answer I guess I could give you.
Do you got a number in mind, like how long you want to play for?
No. You know, do I foresee a day where I'm just like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore? Probably not. I know there'll be a day where I won't either be able to do it at the level I want, or 32 teams will say, no thanks. I don't know that I want to take it to that place of hanging on for, not because I'm too proud or too ego-driven for it, more of just like the family situation and figuring kids with school, and it's a lot. moving the entire family up there, renting a house all together, getting furniture, and managing all of that. And with the uncertainty of sometimes not even knowing if you're going to be on the team, nothing's guaranteed. So that's a long answer of basically saying it's not about me anymore. There's other people that are baked into my decisions, and not only are they considerations, they're the priority. Me playing, they will make it a priority if we can have the stability of understanding that we know we can show up this season, and I am the plan. And if we can't, then we can't do that. So I think I've got at least 2 more years where I could do it on the road in the fall. My oldest son's in 5th. That would put him through 6th and 7th. I think I'd have a really hard time being gone, starting him at 8th grade, which is when in the New Orleans way of high school starts, in 8th grade here. And I just don't think I would be able to do that. So, maybe, who knows, maybe I'll get lucky and there'll be a spot open up here down the road whenever that
Well, it looks
comes.
like you could play linebacker here. I mean,
Hey, listen, if you didn't have to see me run side to side, I may call you. I can still run straight ahead, pretty good clip. I still get over 20 miles an hour every year in a game. Normally when something's gone horribly wrong and I'm running my ass off to, make sure it doesn't get worse. But yeah, I mean, I feel in good shape. I'm training. It's all good. I don't feel like I'm wearing a hip down or a knee down or something. I've really been fortunate to stay in good health, and I think I know a big part of that's just been living in the weight room for the past 20 years and taking that seriously, and so yeah.
Last one for me. The analysis nobody is getting anywhere else this week, which is hard to believe. Who's got the punting and the punt coverage edge in Sunday's game?
Good question. I wouldn't be able to speak to the coverage of either team, but I would say you got 2 different punters punting in the game. Both guys can bang the ball. Braden Mann is a talented guy, and Matt Ariza is a talented guy, but both different. One's a lefty, one's a righty. And, you're playing in that kind of stagnant air in the Superdome, especially when those air conditioners are blowing in there.
We know that was way too well.
Man, it gets cold up in that dome.
man.
So, yeah, I don't know that I would put one above the other. I know, look, Braden's been doing this for a long time now, got a lot of experience, and, but I was a rookie and kind of young and dumb and almost didn't understand the scope of what I was getting myself into. And maybe that was a benefit as a rookie of just kind of ho-humming your way in there and, not realizing how big it was. So I think both guys are talented. I mean, anybody that's on an NFL roster means you're one of the top 32 in the world. So both guys are great players.
All right, that's Thomas Morstead. We'll be back right after this. Total Maintenance is one of the largest locally owned home and commercial service providers in South Louisiana and serve the greater New Orleans and Baton Rouge markets. They have a membership program that gets you 2 tune-up visits for AC and heating, as well as club membership discounts of 15% on all repairs, half off of all diagnostic charges, and 3-year warranties on most repairs for membership clients. This is usually priced at the low price of $24.95 a month per system, but if you tell Total Maintenance that you found them through NOF, they'll lower the price to $20.95 per month per system for as long as you keep the membership active. Services include AC and heating service and replacement, electrical service, plumbing service, as well as generator service and installation. They are Total Maintenance. Find them at tm-ac.com or give them a call at 504-841-3300, or if you're in the Baton Rouge area, 225-480-1000. Martin's is your go-to destination for everything merry and bright this holiday season. From an unmatched selection of bourbon, whiskeys, and wines to gourmet food, gift baskets, and catering, Martin's has all your holiday needs covered. Family owned and operated since 1946, Martin's knows the perfect ways to celebrate this season with loved ones. Visit them in Metairie, New Orleans, or Baton Rouge, or shop online for the ultimate convenience. Whether you're raising a glass or looking for the perfect holiday gift, make it an easy and cheerful holiday with Martin's.
Welcome to the Queen Casino, where entertainment meets unparalleled customer service. From our days on the water to our new land experience overlooking the Mississippi River, our dedicated staff is here to ensure your visit is nothing short of exceptional. Whether you are coming or going, our well-lit parking lot and security team provide guests with red carpet treatment. Our security team keeps watch so you can focus on fun and fortune. From table to table, our attentive staff is here to serve up the ultimate experience. Join us at the Queen Casino. Your royal adventure awaits.
All right, so it turns out that Dennis Allen made it 1,001 days between the day he was hired and the day he was fired. Hopefully for the Saints, Kellen Moore makes it a little bit longer. But that brings us into our Martin's questions of the day. And if the next head coach doesn't work out, go to Martin's. They got some stuff that can help you deal with it. Martin's is home to a wide selection of hand-picked barrel, select bourbon, whiskeys, and more. Martin's, so much more than just wine. All right, so it turns out that Dennis Allen made it 1,001 days between the day he was hired and the day he was fired. Hopefully for the Saints, Kellen Moore makes it a little bit longer. But that brings us into our Martin's questions of the day. And if the next head coach doesn't work out, go to Martin's. They got some stuff that can help you deal with it. Martin's is home to a wide selection of hand-picked barrel, select bourbon, whiskeys, and more. Martin's, so much more than just wine. Our first question of the day is from Saints Guy. He said, which players could... Oops, I'm sorry. Our first one is from Isaiah. He said, can Jeanty or Warren be realistic options for Moore at 9? I'm going to say yeah on both of them. And, man, every time I see a clip from Warren, it is freaking unbelievable. Like, this dude is incredibly talented. I think he legit might end up being, like, a top 6 pick. Like, I don't know if he makes it till 9. Like, these highlights I'm seeing are insane. Like, some of the stuff he can do. I don't know if he makes it all the way there.
Daniel Jeremiah's in 5th on his board.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, and look, I didn't watch a ton of college football. I watched the playoffs and everything. He's the guy who made the biggest impact on me watching the playoffs. Obviously, Jeanty, too, who we'll talk about in a minute. But I looked at Warren, and I was like, that is a player who on his own can make your offense so much better, especially if you're an offense that has Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave like the Saints do. Like, there's your go-to target in traffic. There's a guy who makes defenses defend you differently. I would be all for it. We talk about position value, position, importance. You can get that later. You can only get this now or whatever. When they're that special, that's different. And obviously that's true of Jeanty too. And speaking of Kellen Moore, I mean, Jeanty just so happens. Kellen Moore is not I make 2,000-yard running backs guy. Him and Saquon Barkley was a great marriage. It's the first time that happened in his career, although he did stuff with Tony.
Kellen Moore's I make 1,000 running back guys, 2,000-yard running back guy.
But he also, so what I was saying, he's not just like a guy who's automatically going to draft a running back, period. He does have a pretty special connection with Jeanty. They're both Boise State guys. And he openly said, yes, I watch their games, of course. I'm a Boise State fan. I watched him all year. He's very impressed with him like anyone else who would watch him. So totally not out of the question.
Look, I think one of the spots where Moore, he like Saquon went from 1,300 yards to 2,000.
Tony Pollard had a monster year with Moore in Dallas, and then when Moore left, he had a huge disappointing year. So he does have some running back whisper history to him, but it's not as
Saquon's a freak
hard.
though. Yeah, and he was in a bad team. He goes to a good team, good line, good passing offense. Like he's like in the perfect place to be where he is right now. But like Kellen Moore isn't necessarily the most colorful person at a press conference setting or at a table setting. But, like, one of the spots where he lit up the most and showed the most personality, was when he was talking about Jeanty. So, I don't know what that means. It just might mean
Boise State,
it might just mean that he gave him a lot of Saturday enjoyment, and that's it. But, like, there was definitely, like, that dude is legit. All right, going into our next question from Saints Guy. He said, which players could help Moore bring in from Dallas, LA, Philly to help install his culture and offense? I honestly don't know.
I researched this because it was something I was really curious about too. Remember last year when we one idea I liked last year, pat myself on the back, was that Clint Kubiak could bring Sam Darnold in. I should have been right now, but and the other one was Jelon Jennings, who also had a monster season, but the Niners didn't let him go. I didn't see names that jumped off the page like that from any of his stops. One that's interesting to me is Cedric Wilson, who I kind of had penciled in as getting cut from the Saints. But Cedric Wilson had the best years of his career playing for Kellen Moore in Dallas. He's the first one who instituted the Cedric Wilson touchdown pass trick play. So I actually think he's a guy who would now stick with the Saints and actually help translate that offense in-house. As far as free agents, I mean, Mekhi Becton is a free agent. There's a guy who has tackle guard eligibility. If he enjoyed his year with Kellen Moore, he's interesting. Zach Martin from the Cowboys is a free agent, but I think he's either going to stay with the Cowboys or go into retirement. The only other thing that interested me is a couple of quarterbacks. Easton Stick from the Chargers and Cooper Rush from the Cowboys are both free agents this year. So it could be interesting if Kellen Moore really likes the way those guys think and see the game, if he wanted to bring them in as a veteran backup quarterback with a chance to compete for starting opportunities.
All right, that's going to do it for us on today's show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back next time we're back. Talk to you then.